Hello friends, I am making a coffee right now, and while we make coffee, I'm going to tell you about what we're talking about in today's video. The coffee that I'm making is a vanilla coffee. It's from Panera. It's like their Madagascar vanilla one. It's really good. I usually make the coffee in this, but this literally happened this morning. I completely shattered this. I don't know how it happened. I was just, taking it off the dish rack. And I'm very sad about it because I love this. I use this every single day to make like my 1 cup of coffee because it's small enough to just make 1 cup. So I'm sad, but I will use my French press today. Here we are. My French press is also like very large, so making 1 cup of coffee in it is, I don't know, a little weird, but we'll make do. My water's already ready to go, so let's do this. Of course, I have to bloom it first. But what are we talking about in today's video? We are going to be talking about some things that have been really inspiring me lately, things that I have really been slowing down and embracing as much as I possibly can right now because I'm enjoying it so much. It doesn't happen often where I feel so inspired by so many things all at the same time. I feel like this, of course, I talked about this so many times, but I feel like this happens often when it's the cold season. I just find my peak during this time. So I guess that's why all of these things are just suddenly inspiring me, but I'm trying to embrace them as much as I possibly can so that, I don't know, I can enjoy this peak and maybe prolong the peak. We'll see what happens, and of course I'll take you along that journey. This has about 4 minutes, so I'll see you in a second. Okay, pushing it down, and as you can see, I can't really push anything down, which is why I don't like to make coffee in this when I'm only trying to brew 1 cup, but I think it'll still work. Yeah, it still works. Still got my cup, my 1 singular cup. By the way, thank you so much to the person that commented in last week's video where I was experimenting with the phone, the Google Pixel 8 Pro, and vlogging, and I didn't realize that I can use my watch, the Google Pixel Watch 2, as a viewfinder almost. So I can actually see myself on the watch here to ensure that everything looks fine on this end because I'm using the back camera, so I can't really see if anything is wrong. But now I can using this. Thank you so much for that because I was about to order like some weird doohickey thing to make this work, but now I don't have to. I can just use the watch, which is genius. But yeah, I've got my coffee. Let's go look at some things that have been inspiring me lately, and hopefully it'll inspire you too. Wait, was this happening behind me the entire time? That is so cute and so funny. Okay, so let's start with some books that have been inspiring me lately. I talked about this in last week's video about like anthologies and collections and things like that, and I have another collection here that I think was like the coolest thing that I spotted in my local bookstore. It was right before Halloween. I know Halloween's over now, but there was like a spooky section in my local bookstore for Halloween, and it had this book on display, which is called Spooky New Jersey. It called out to me. I needed to get a copy of it. First of all, you all know that I love spooky things, so I had to get something spooky, of course, for spooky season. But the fact that it's also in New Jersey, and I now live in New Jersey, I just felt like it was the perfect book to be part of like my collection of books that I have. I don't know, I just thought it was super cool, and I also love that the stories in here are written by local New Jersey authors. There's also illustrations in here. It's very cool. I love the fact that I was able to support, local authors, local artists, creators, stuff like that. But it's also kind of awesome to hear about like the lore and the spooky stuff that goes down in New Jersey now as a New Jersey resident. So I don't know, everything about this was super cool, and I think it's inspiring for me because I really appreciate seeing other people's work, especially if I can support other people's work for like locally. I don't know, there's just something great about that. So I got myself a copy of this. It has been a lot of fun. Speaking of spooky, I have another book here. I took the sleeve off. I'm not a sleeve person, but this one is more art centric, like traditional art centric. It's called The Madman's Gallery. And first of all, I love how it looks without the sleeve. I just do not like sleeves, but this color is pretty awesome. And inside of it is just a lot of studies and pieces of like, I don't know if weird is the right word, but definitely like strange. So it says the strangest paintings, sculptures, and other curiosities from the history of art. Here is the picture here. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are familiar with that one, but there's just like dark stuff in here. Here's another example. And I love that there are like really large size pieces of art in here that I can kind of look really closely and study, and perhaps it'll give me some inspiration when I'm doing my own art. I'm hoping that I can kind of rely on books like this as opposed to just going on Pinterest or going online and just using my phone all the time. Sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, like while the internet has so many great references and so much inspiration and stuff like that, which I'll get into soon, sometimes I just want to use a physical book as a reference because I don't like to like continuously keep my phone on. I just prefer holding a book or something or looking at an actual scene or setting as a reference. I don't know. I just prefer it, at least for now. So this has been a lot of fun to look through. And there are, of course, there are studies on it in here. So there's like large descriptions. There's some really interesting things that I did not know about art in here. And I'm just getting my foot back into art. So it has been a lot of fun reading through these things and learning. So yeah, this has really been inspiring me. I think one of the coolest things that I learned in this book, there's like this thing where artists would try to incorporate themselves and kind of do self-portraits in other pieces. So they would do pieces for other people that they commissioned, I guess would be the word. And you would see tiny little instances of the painter or the artist in the painting. It's kind of like their self-proclaimed portrait inside of the piece, which is really cool. One example could be like a mirror. There's a mirror in the back of the painting and they're doing a portrait of someone else, but you can see the painter in the reflection of the mirror that they painted, which I think is so, so cool. And then the last book that I have is, like I said, I did not start this, but I'm very, very much looking forward to starting this. I don't know why I haven't started it yet because it's been sitting around for a few weeks, to be honest with you, but I want to give myself a lot of time and space to really thoroughly go through this, just like I've seen other people go through it. So this is The Artist's Way. I think this is the 30th anniversary edition. It's really nice. It's got like a shimmer almost, but I have seen so many artists online start this book and finish it and become like a completely transformed person when it comes to their art and their creativity. So I am so looking forward to experiencing that for myself. I don't know what to expect from me personally. I know that people have been hyping it up and I usually am skeptical when people are like that, but I saw an artist that I really, really like and I'm inspired by say that their life was changed from this. So there's like actual action items through each chapter. So that's why I kind of want to dedicate a lot of time and space to get started in it, which is probably why I haven't started it yet. I haven't had the time, but I cannot wait to get started with it. I have other things that are not book related. They're actually like apps and stuff. So let me tell you about those as well. I can't believe they're still over here after that whole chat. I don't know what they're doing. They're probably sunbathing, to be honest with you. It is cold in here. Okay, I'm in the office now. I hope the lighting is okay. I actually changed the blinds in here and they look really, really nice, but I'm not sure if it's like darker now. But anyway, I have two apps that have been inspiring me a lot lately, and I think these two are really, really monumental for me because we spend a lot of time on our phones, right? And for me, particularly as a content creator, I spend probably way too much time on my phone, and I can so easily get into a space that is not positive. I can get into a space that is not productive when I'm on my phone. and it can really lead me into like a rabbit hole of just all of that chaos that's associated with that. And there's nothing wrong with disassociating and going online and, you know, just scrolling through a bunch of chaos or things purely for entertainment and not necessarily for productivity. That's absolutely fine. There comes a point where it's like a little bit too much, and it kind of leaves a negative impact on me as a whole. So I am trying to kind of redirect and steer away from doing that often, and instead having my phone be a source of productivity or a source of inspiration from different apps that are probably not like the mainstream apps. When I say that, I'm talking about like social media and stuff like that. So the two apps that I have been really enjoying, the first one is Google Arts and Culture. I did not know that Google had an app that was completely centric to art and history and learning and education, which is so funny to me. I feel like I should have known that. Google has an app where you can browse through all of those things that I mentioned. You can look at food, you can look at history, you can look at culture, different cultures, you can look at art, you can search through art, you can explore museums and things like that. And I have just been enjoying that so much because obviously you can't always have access to a museum, especially museums that are very far away from you, but this app allows you to kind of browse through museum exhibits and see pieces and look at the descriptions under the pieces. You can actually zoom in and see all of the intricacies of the piece as well. It's obviously not going to be the same as if you were at the museum and you can actually see the physical piece, but it gets pretty darn close, and it has been so cool. I spend hours in that app now just looking at different pieces, and I use the option that's in that app, which is explore by color. That has just been the most fun for me. I'll just explore by different colors and see a huge range of art pieces. And it's not just the art pieces that are limited to my area. I can look at art pieces from all around the world, so I can experience different cultures as well. So that has been so much fun. I can look at all the different art strokes that are on the paintings and stuff like that, and I have been so inspired that like certain pieces have made it into my newsletter. When I was talking about like my newsletter being a lot more curated and feeling like a lot more of a deep dive, these pieces have been kind of going into my newsletters as an addition to those deep dives. So it has just been all around such a positive experience. It's probably my new favorite app. Highly recommend. And of course it's free, and you can save the pieces so you can go back to it if you want to reference them, if you do want to use your phone to reference pieces, if you're doing art, if you're writing based off of a piece that inspired you, things like that. Just such a great app and resource. I'm so appreciative of it. But the second app is a brand new one to me. I think I downloaded it earlier this week or late last week. It's Substack, and Substack is, I wouldn't call it a social media platform. It's not social media in the way that we think of Instagram, TikTok, stuff like that. It does have a feed, and on the feed, people who are Substack writers can post things onto that feed. So there's a feed element to it that makes it a little bit more social media forward when you first download it, but that's not why I downloaded it in the first place. I downloaded it because Substack is sort of like a landing page, which is like a website kind of page / blog / newsletter / subscription service. So it's like all of these things all in one, and it's really great for creators because creators can have a newsletter there, and they can have like a whole landing page where somebody can kind of like refer to and read through all of their newsletters. But they can also have a subscription added to it. So if they want to have exclusive content, you can pay a small fee to those creators, and then you can get access to like exclusive content and stuff like that. So it's a really great platform for creators. But for me, for someone who's looking for inspiration, who's looking for a little bit more long form, thought-provoking, insightful kind of content, this place is kind of like a hub for discovering new creators online. They don't necessarily need to be writers because, like I said, it's sort of like a newsletter / blog, and that's associated with writers, but they don't necessarily need to be writers. It can be creators that you enjoy on other social media platforms that have a Substack, and they're sharing extra insight on this platform. So that's what I have been using it for, kind of a mix of both. I have been following people that I enjoy consuming content from on other social media platforms, and I have been discovering new people that are specifically on Substack and probably on other social media platforms. But I've just been discovering a lot basically on this platform and just reading through the long form content and getting so inspired by people's musings, by their roundup of resources, links, recipes. It's just, it can be whatever the creator decides to use the space for, but it has just been so much fun, and you can filter through topics. So I do follow a lot of recipe developers, I follow a lot of lifestyle creators, I follow artists on there as well. And so the content, the thought-provoking content, the inspirational content that you can find on this is so varied, but it's very creative because long form content allows you to have more space to play around, right? I was talking about that with my newsletter, and that's probably why I've been enjoying Substack so much as well, because I've been playing around with my newsletter as well. But there's a lot more space to get creative. And so these creators who are creating like 10-second videos on TikTok, say, are able to expand so much more on Substack. And if you are a big fan of a creator and they're on Substack, you get to get those extra bits and pieces that your creator is creating specifically on Substack. So I have been enjoying that so much. I think one of the biggest inspirations for me these days is just consuming content from other fellow creators. Seeing other people create is so inspiring to me. It makes me want to create as well. That is another app I have been absolutely obsessed with. Those are the two apps that I've been pretty much obsessed with. Highly recommend, especially because they're free, unless you end up deciding to pay like through that paywall, that subscription for your favorite creators. But it could be as low as like $1, I'm pretty sure. I haven't paid for any just yet because I just downloaded the app, but we'll see. I think it's like a nice alternative to Patreon, where Patreon is a little bit more like a massive hub per creator. This one is like a massive hub, and then there's like mini hubs per creator. I don't know, there's something about it that I just really like. It's a lot more accessible, a lot less overwhelming, if that makes sense. Okay, that was a lot of me talking. I actually want to show you a sketchbook tour because I finally finished a sketchbook and I haven't done that in years. So let's go flip through some pages. All right, y'all. So this is my art bag that I kind of take with me everywhere these days. And let me know if you want to see like the full extent of what's in here. But this is a sketchbook that I have finally finished. It's a moleskin. I've had it for many years. You may have seen it in pictures on Instagram, but I finally finished it. And I kind of like went back to back on some pages. Let's just go through it. Let's just quickly flip through it. I'm not going to explain every single piece, obviously. That would take forever, but let's quickly go through it. So this is the first piece. This is from one of my getaway trips. I think everything in here is pretty much watercolor, by the way. But yeah, this is a scene from a getaway trip. Another scene from a getaway trip. Those are like those tiny cabins. Another scene. I'm always inspired whenever I go to those getaway trips. This is a landscape that is also from one of those getaway trips. It's up in the Catskills in New York. These are just some pencil sketches. This is ink, but clearly I'm trying to draw a pumpkin here. This is a free library that I saw in Woodstock in the Catskills. This is a lantern also from the getaway. I actually have one of these now. Like, I own one of these lanterns, which is really cool. A mushroom that I saw on a hike, also up in the Catskills. I think this is from a different Catskills trip where we were listening to a spooky podcast in the tiny cabin, and so I just felt inspired to do something spooky. Here's that pumpkin. I really like this one. I like the green details. This is another landscape from the Catskills. I really, really like this one. I think this is, I don't even know what this is supposed to be, but I really like this one. Random swatches. This is a sketch. I'm pretty sure this is a sketch from Ian, maybe? And this crab was also drawn by Ian, was not drawn by me. It's just pencil. I think this is a sketch from me. This is when we went to Tulum. I can see like there's like water and then there's like the sand and stuff. Over here we just have some tomatoes. The summer really inspired me when it comes to tomatoes. Over here, I think we just have like some fall foliage, playing around with colors. This is a butternut squash. I love doing pictures like this. This looks to be like a pencil sketch of a mug. This is a jack-o'-lantern, of course. All right, let's see. These are some pumpkins that I saw recently when we went pumpkin picking. I never painted it, but I don't think I wanted to paint it, to be honest with you. I just wanted to sketch the shapes of them. One looked exactly like this. You could probably see it on my Instagram. This is a bird. We went to I think it was a zoo, and they had like an enclosure where you can go in and like walk around with the birds flying everywhere, and this was one of the birds. We have a bird cage. I think this is from Inktober. This is a tomato that looks really bad. Let's see. This looks to be like a peach. I think this is also from Inktober. This is, I think I was trying to draw a dog, but I don't know whose dog. Anyway. Also from Inktober, we have some snow on top of like a very barren tree. This was super random. So wine glass, cheese, and bread. I like drawing food, if you haven't noticed. This is a landscape. I think this was also for Inktober. I think the Inktober prompt was saddle. So I drew a horse very badly. An owl. I would love to be able to draw animals really well, but it's still a work in progress. Ooh, I really, really love this one. This one is obviously a fish. And as you all know, I ended up doing a larger piece. This was like my trial on a smaller piece. This looks to be like a goat, maybe? Very creepy. And then some more fish. I really like these fish. And another fish. I was playing around with color here, trying to get a little experimental. I like it. I don't know. It's pretty cool. We have some pencil sketches here. These are both from Ian. Ian wants to do some painting as well, so he's kind of like mapping out what he wants to do here. I think this is supposed to be a feather. I think I got a little lazy though. This was a pencil sketch that I completely scrapped early on because I did not like where I was going. Another landscape with some more fall foliage, more colors that are very fall-esque. Sandcastle, probably for Inktober. A pepper. Man, I really love the ones that I did here with the vegetables and the fruits. A sword. This is so obviously from Inktober. It's so bad. And then I think this is the last one. Yeah, it's a bag with some bread in it. I think also from Inktober. But that's the whole sketchbook. I can't believe I completed it. And I like overly completed it. I did some double-sided too. So I'm so proud of that. I hope that was interesting. All right, friends, I'm going to end the video off here. I hope something here stuck with you. I hope you go and check one of these things out, whether it's one of the books or the apps. The apps are free, so I highly recommend at least downloading one and checking them out, and let me know what you think about them. Thank you once again to the comments in last week's video. Those were so helpful. I appreciate you. If I sounded weird in today's video, I'm actually just getting over a cold. Like, today's the first day that I'm actually feeling a little bit better, so I hope you didn't mind, but I will talk to you in next week's video.